behind every great goal is a great assist. This season, we can move ultimate assist to make you reach goals. Just have your digital disco banker from AXA here to do your banking for you. And add the on WhatsApp with the number +260 762 969 977. Let's get started. Whether it's calling someone,
I use your computer.
just checking the
I use this one.
just add
We need to order this shackle. Which one should I use? Soon better.
Radio Single News brought to you by Moose Milling and OTV Broadcasting Zambia Limited.
Radio Changela, restoring everything in Christ with love and truth. Good afternoon, with the main news. I'm Justina, Matandiko, Mukuka. The headlines: emulate Christ's humility, do not underplay the looming fuel shortage. FAS has arranged 2 international friendly marches for the women's national team. And now the main news in detail. Politicians have been advised to emulate Christ's humility as they serve the people. Speaking to Radio Ichengela News in Kitwe, United Church of Zambia Kwacha East Congregation Minister in Charge, Reverend Edward Kapembwe, said political leaders should take the example of Jesus, who died for humanity out of love. Reverend Kapembwe also talked on the need for politicians to love one another for peace to prevail. He observed that where there was love, violence cannot take root, especially in a country called a Christian nation. The UCZ Reverend further spoke against youths being used as tools of political violence.
One thing that you need to understand is that Zambia has been declared a Christian nation. First thing that they need to do is bafuire bakwata ikirangiro. They need to be examples. Bafuire balanga okutemwa n'okutemwana. Despite belonging to different political parties, but they should show that love, loving one another. Ero so ninga tebona chimbi chakutila bera omfye misepera. Bafuire bale bomfye misepera. Kutambo kutukana, kutambo kunwa, balirwisha, bafuire baba nga Kristo. Yesu Kristo was a master, but he showed humility. So now we have politicians. Bale tutungula fuye bantu, bafuire balanga okwiche.
Meanwhile, an organization called the Political Science Association of Zambia (PSSZ) is urging political parties to adopt experienced candidates. The organization observed that for legislative stability to continue, political parties should avoid making major changes to the legislature. It has recommended that experienced MPs, especially those in the first term, must be retained to ensure continuity and stability of the House. This is according to a statement issued by the Media Liaison and International Relations Office, Political Science Association of Zambia. A random check by Radio Ichengelo News has revealed that only I beg your pardon. There was confusion at a meeting organized by Chimweme Member of Parliament Mwilam Tale to discuss and announce the handover of Happy Community School to government. It is believed that a named group of people are claiming ownership of the land and only want to surrender 2.7 hectares out of the 6.7 hectares belonging to the school. Some people, some unruly youths disrupted the meeting, which ended prematurely as people scampered in different directions for their safety. And residents of Kawama, Happy, and east of Garnerton, however, want the entire 6.7 hectares of land to belong to the school. They spoke to Radio Ichengelo News today.
Iyo kuruga government bako kefina ko tulekwa. Umushumu abana bari kula basabye so tulekwa kwano kame ka government bako kefina. Kaka ya kefina abana bari kwano. Ko kanyo ko ne. Inchenge yonse yakiri babire aho bene kasingana nabo. Tulekwa teba konkanye ko abana bari tambira le tuako na kwa. Tuaini wajenga skuli watu walioproblemu. Wote kwa ndio mtu kwa wakati yo. Kabisa wana prota bali skuli kia kwa wana wale apanda kwa sambi.
Tutereka bilanga abantu bafana. Turefasha iskulu. Anjabana kunonga kuri iskulu. Nichukuya ntaisukulu ya bandai. Kali abana b'eskulu. Wanakuwa bana bena bali sambira. Kanonga kwa kwa iskulu. Nichukuya ntaisukulu kwa kuna baba.
Chimwemwe MP Mwilam Tale has also spoken on the need for the entire 6.7 hectares of land to be surrendered to government so that children have access to education.
Bapite n'amaparents abakuka wa makwesingati area including anyway I think we reluctant to kusumina kuri your proposal or to like to offer cause na basana 2.7 hectares nishi tabare space hapo waje tufejwa kula kwa grade amanyo classroom blocks grade 8 grade 9 grade 10 grade 11 grade 12.
Sincere apologies for that. Tanker drivers in Dola have urged government not to underplay the looming fuel shortage in the country. The drivers talked to by Radio Ichengelo at Indeni Refinery said although they have started loading fuel, most of their concerns have not been fully addressed. The drivers said the 50% fuel volume allocation to local transporters has not been implemented yet, and Zambian tanker drivers are not being allowed to transport fuel from other countries such as Tanzania into Zambia.
Ya Tanzania but nishi ni order ya Zambia tulikuwa kama ayama transport kwata yana kwa ncho kusenda lakini na baseni ngakuwa ya mimi ni jawa Tanzania mimi jawa ku Mozambique tunawa ku Zimbabwe ifebe ni kwa Zambians kitu akwa ncho kusenda ama that no shortage throughout because kwa ya magambani ziambi dawa kama trucks yani tayari na kuona la kama maonda la pela ma kusimba telefoni zimambo ni sinda masters ndio tunaitenda tuelewe.
Meanwhile, fuel in Kitwe is still in short supply despite government's assurance that the situation will be normalized. A random check by Radio Ichengelo News revealed that only Puma filling station in Kitwe town center has the commodity, while Total and Indian filling stations in Parklands and Cobble filling station in town center had no petrol. Some fuel attendants have told our reporter that fuel will be stocked by this afternoon, but bus drivers from the Kitwe Central Business District have complained saying their business is affected by erratic fuel supply. They are, however, hopeful that the supply of fuel will normalize following government's assurance that the commodity will be available.
Abachuza sana bantu kaidishwa bine yachote na lero kuchibuta kwani bapale barekano kwa mani para pali pasa train na kufika acho kumwala chitanga n'injoko yagiranda hairwa tio na balita mana nkani ma filling station so mara chiko kumwala tamwe no na filling station kwa bati abantu babisiwe bari kwa bakoma musambo mairo bari kwa chawe na 24 ndikuta ya bacha yo na ifura kali charo so kutolero lera be kai kunzwa na kuma so le runisha ba ba futi charo au tu pele shikile sangwa ila shoti apande pata kokula kwa nisi prepara para vera mo simu bombele ya mbatile ya damu kai tulini bombe pyo rumo ta kodi ni kwa tata ndama si kwa pale charo kwa kupenda ni kwa mfua tu.
Pope Francis has encouraged Christians never to get tired of seeking the risen Christ. Speaking on Easter Monday before the recitation of the Regina Coeli, the Pope noted that Easter Monday is known in Italy as Lunedì degli Angelo, or the Monday of the Angel, referring to the Gospel reading Matthew 28, chapter 1. Matthew 28, verse 1 to 15, in which Mary Magdalene and the other Mary encountered an angel at the empty tomb while looking for Jesus. He observed that the angel greeted the women with the words, "Do not be afraid." According to the Catholic news agency, the Pope gave his address in the library of the Apostolic Palace due to coronavirus restrictions. In sports, the Football Association of Zambia FAZ has arranged 2 international friendly matches for the women's national team as part of preparations for the Tokyo Olympic Games. Chipolo Polo will play South Africa on April 10th in Johannesburg and Kenya this month end. FAZ General Secretary Adrian Kashala says the 2 friendly matches will help the technical bench gauge the strength of the squad. This is according to a media statement issued by FAZ spokesperson Sydney Mongala. The team is currently in camp in Lusaka preparing for the Olympic Games. This news broadcast comes to you in the community service of Radio Ichengelo with compliments of Moose Milling and Gold TV Broadcasting Zambia Limited. And now international news as monitored from the BBC. More than 1,800 inmates have escaped from a prison in Nigeria after it was attacked by gunmen, officials say. The attackers reportedly entered the prison yard in the southeastern town of Owerri by using explosives to blast the administrative block. 6 prisoners have reportedly returned while 35 refused to escape. Police have accused the banned separatist group, the indigenous people of Biafra, of carrying out the attack. Here's the BBC with a roundup of stories.
Departure from her predecessor's controversial position on the coronavirus, the new president of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, is to set up a task force of experts to advise the government. She said Tanzania could not isolate itself as an island in the fight against COVID-19. The late former president, John Magufuli, often dismissed the presence of the virus and encouraged prayer as well as the use of herbal remedies. The Swiss bank Credit Suisse has revealed it's lost billions of dollars because of 2 disastrous investments. It sacked 2 senior executives. Bonuses that were expected to be paid out this year have been scrapped. Dominic O'Connell reports.
It's a pretty dramatic reckoning, really, for Credit Suisse. This morning it set out the cost of 2 business relationships that went disastrously wrong. First, with a hedge fund based in New York called Archegos. It made a series of bad bets on the stock market via Credit Suisse. And second, with a firm based in the UK called Greensill Capital, put about $10 billion of clients' money into funds invested in Greensill. On Archegos, the bank said that it would lose about $4.4 billion US. The bank's head of risk, Lara Warner, the head of the investment bank, Brian Chin, are both going to leave. The bank has also announced 2 independent investigations into Archegos and into Greensill.
North Korea has announced that it will not take part in the Tokyo Olympics, the first country to pull out of the event. Pyongyang said it had taken the decision to protect its athletes from the coronavirus. From Tokyo, here's Rupert Wingfield-Hayes.
North Korea has now said it is pulling out of the Tokyo Olympic Games because of fears for the health of its team. And the organisers of the Diving World Cup have cancelled their event in Tokyo later this month for similar reasons. All of this does not bode well, with less than 4 months to go until the Tokyo Games are due to open. But the biggest threat to the Games comes from a new wave of COVID infections. On Monday, Osaka recorded more new infections for that city than on any other day since the pandemic began.
And that item brings us to the end of our main news. We take a look at the headlines. Emulate Christ's humility. Do not underplay the looming fuel shortage. And FAZ has arranged 2 international friendly matches for the women's national team. Friends, for this and more stories, you can visit our Facebook page, log on to Facebook and like the Radio Ichengelo page and link to radioichengelo.radio12345.com. And now the weather update as produced by the Zambia Meteorological Department. Copperbelt, northwestern, western, southern, Lusaka, central and eastern provinces are expected to be mainly sunny and warm to hot. The nights are expected to be mainly clear and mild due to moderate and relatively dry airflow from the southeast. On behalf of the entire news team, Constance Kalunga, technician on duty, my name is Justina, Matandiko, Mukuka, wishing you a wonderful afternoon.